Good evening, everyone out there listening tonight. My name is Nick. I'm here hosting on behalf of Chris Arndt, who's on vacation. I'm here also with the great Tyler Roaix. How you doing tonight, Tyler?
Doing well, Nick. How's it going?
Good. Are you excited to do this without Chris?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. So we're sorry to hear that Chris is on vacation actually, out in California. So it's just us two tonight.
He's in LA. Poor him.
Yeah, I know, right? He's in Disneyland right now. But yeah, we're excited to do this by ourselves. We're a little lonely, but that's all right. But we got a really great show for you tonight. And there's a lot to do, a lot to talk about. There's a lot of news out there in the politics and sports world. So let's get started with the rundown real quick. Some things we'll talk about. The Tony Dungy thing. That's getting blown out of proportion in my mind, but whatever. Tony Dungy, we'll talk about that. The dollar sterling news. That's going to be interesting, what's going on there. You ever heard about this? This new Power 5 conferences, the NCAA, want to split the seasons up. That's interesting. We'll talk about that, as well as what's going on with the NBA with the Bulls, Kevin Love, Cavaliers, Andrew Wiggins, all of that. LeBron James, the whole debacle with Instagram. Come on now. Don't even get me started on that. And then some politics now. We're going to briefly talk about politics, not as much as most of you would like us to. We're going to talk about politics for a little tonight, not much, because my friend here, Tyler, doesn't know the most about politics, so I don't want to be having a one-man conversation, which I do often, but, I mean, I don't mind talking by myself, but that's going to get a little boring. So we'll talk about politics very briefly tonight, about the Malaysian airline, the disaster out in Ukraine. That's a disaster. The Israeli and Palestine, the renewed conflict going out there. John Kerry just going out yesterday trying to create a ceasefire there. And then also the whole contradictory rulings on Obamacare. That you're definitely going to see go up to the Supreme Court very, very soon. But again, those two district courts gave contradictory rulings. But we'll go on that later in the show. First off, earlier this week, Tyler, what do you think about this? The whole Tony Dungy thing. He issued a statement saying this, actually, right on the, he told the Tampa Tribune, quote here, straight from Dungy, I wouldn't have taken him in regards to Michael Sam. Not because I don't believe Michael Sam would have a chance to play, but I wouldn't want to deal with all of it. Going to be a totally smooth. Things will happen. It's not going to be totally smooth, he said. So I don't know, Tyler. What's your view on all of this? Do you think it's going to be a big deal, like Tony Dungy said?
Well, in regards to media attention, this is absolutely going to be a huge deal. As we all know, Michael Sam, the first openly gay player in the NFL. So obviously it's going to be a big deal. And look, people need to face facts. I know it's a sensitive subject to talk about, but people need to face facts. It's going to draw a ton of media attention. It's like the whole thing with when Tim Tebow got drafted a few years ago. Obviously it's a slightly different scenario, but it's going to be the same kind of thing with the media attention. Do I think Dungy? I think Dungy came off a little strong. I wouldn't have worded it particularly the way he did. But I think people need to realize that what he's saying, it's just fact. And obviously, Dungy is one of the most respected people in the game. Well, technically he's not in the game anymore, but, you know what I'm saying. He's one of the most respected coaches around right now. So, I mean, while I get why people want to go crazy about it, it is a sensitive subject, especially – in today's world, it's becoming more of a habit to have, homosexuals and homosexual athletes. So it's just I know it's a part of today's world, but people need to realize that what he's saying, it's just fact. It's going to draw a ton of attention, and it's going to be a distraction as long as he's an NFL player.
Oh, you're completely right. I agree with you. I mean, what he just said here was completely true. What was completely true. People don't want it to be true, but it's true. He's the first openly gay NFL player ever. All right. Of course, there's going to be attention around it. NFL is the most popular sport in the country by far.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
And he's completely right. I mean, actually, real quick though, I like the way Michael Sam handled this though.
Yeah, he handled it really well.
To quote him real quick, he was asked by one of the ESPN people after training camp. And the way he responded was he said, thank God Dungy wasn't the St. Louis Rams coach. Actually, he had a couple laughs on this as well. to continue what he said, I have a lot of respect for Coach Dungy, and like everyone in America, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think Michael Sam did a wonderful job.
Oh, absolutely.
To be honest with you, he better get used to it. People are going to be talking about this all the time. He better get used to talking like this.
And here's the thing, and I think people really need to understand what I'm about to say. None of this is going to matter, because at the end of the day, if the guy can play, that's all that matters. That's all that Jeff Fisher's going to care about coaching this team. That's all about Rams fans are going to care about. At the end of the day, it only matters if he can play.
Oh, yeah. If he can play, then every team in the league will want him.
Everybody was raving about how great of a player Tim Tebow was going to be. How'd it turn out?
Oh, yeah. Where is he now? Not even
he's trying to make a comeback.
CFL.
He's trying to make a comeback.
Yeah. But, I mean, actually, then Dungy, of course, was asked. I mean, he backtracked a little bit on this. I don't blame him. But in a statement published on ProFootballTalk.com, he said, I was not asked whether or not Sam doesn't deserve an opportunity to play in the NFL. He absolutely does. I mean, there's no doubt. Who knows if this guy can play? Yeah. But he won, what, Big 12?
He was. Well, no, because Missouri's in the SEC.
SEC, so he won SEC Defensive Player.
He was SEC. I believe it was co-defensive player in the year.
Sure.
He shared it with somebody else. I'm not sure who, but he was co-defensive player in the year in the SEC, which, as you know, is probably the biggest conference in college football right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, look, I know his draft stock really dropped because he had a rough combine in workouts and all that. So he was, what, a 7th-round draft pick? He was one of the last picks, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, look, I understand that people aren't looking towards his ability, but at the end of the day, that's the most important thing here. Look, I mean, if you're a player in this league, no matter who you are, no matter where you were drafted, as long as you can play, it's all that matters. Look, Tom Brady was picked in the 6th round, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Oh, I completely agree. I don't think I mean, looking past this whole homosexuality thing is gonna be a stigma with him for the rest of his life. You know what? I don't really care if he's gay or not. If Freddie Mercury Mercury put on a uniform and went out there and played, you know what? I wouldn't even care, because that man, I'm in love with that man. And if he went out there and played, I wouldn't even care. I would not even care. And you know what? If he played well, any team in the league will want him. I mean, God rest his soul, Freddie Mercury. But really, if he can play, which he proved he did in college. I mean, college and football and NFL, big difference. But I mean, SEC, by far the best conference in college. Mm-hmm. And he was co-defenseman player of the year. Mm-hmm. He's got to be doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because as far as from what the scouts are saying, personally, I haven't seen a lot of his video or anything. He's kind of one of those in-between guys size-wise where he's not quite big enough to be a lineman, but he's a little too big to be a linebacker. So, I mean, look, he's got the physical ability to play. It's just a matter of where he fits in.
Sure. Oh, yeah. All right, so looking past all this, these remarks, Tyler, what do you think he'll do next year? Do you think he'll do anything?
It's so tough. I mean,
yeah.
I hope he gets a shot. I'd like to see him succeed. I really would, because this guy, he has a lot of fans, but at the same time, because of who he is, he also has a lot of people who don't like him because he's gay. Because, football is a manly sport, and, guys like him shouldn't be playing, blah, 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 blah. That's what I've heard. I don't agree with it. I can't stand that viewpoint. I think what Tony Dungy was trying to say, look, everybody deserves a fair shot. And I'm with him there. So, I mean, I hope the guy gets a shot, and I hope he plays well. I really do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are just taking his original quote out of context. He said that right in. He said that I wouldn't have taken him, but he clearly stated not because I don't believe Michael Sam shouldn't have a chance to play. He definitely has a chance to play.
Exactly.
Tony Dungy said the right thing. He's a great guy, but at the end of the day, the media blew it up.
Yeah. As
everyone did. All right, next topic. We're done with that. Donald Sterling files a new lawsuit. I think we see that every day in the news. How many lawsuits did he file? 5, 6, 7? Who knows
ridiculous.
At this point?
It's ridiculous.
But Tuesday, so 2 days ago, he filed a lawsuit in L.A. seeking damages from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and his wife, Shelly Sterling, alleging that they defrauded him and violated corporate law in attempting to sell the franchise to former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer. Sterling asked for an injunction to freeze the $2 billion sale, arguing that his wife had no authority to sell the franchise because he is the sole owner and shareholder of the corporation which owns the Clippers, which is actually the Sterling Family Trust. So he's arguing, which everyone said from I personally have said that from the beginning, it's a slippery slope. Selling this is, he actually might have a shot here, Tyler.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny. Just to kind of go back to the number of lawsuits you were talking about, there's a pretty funny quote from Pierce O'Donnell, the lead attorney for Shelley Sterling, because she's trying to petition for the sale to be allowed. Pierce O'Donnell said, quote, Donald Sterling is running out of courts to file lawsuits in. He's in probate court, he's in federal court, he's in civil court. He's running out of places to try to obstruct the sale. I mean, look, it's almost getting hard to follow the timeline for all of this. It seems like every day you wake up and Donald Sterling's filed a new lawsuit, or Donald Sterling did something insane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It really is. But I mean, at the same time, I hate to say it, but he might actually have a point with this most recent lawsuit.
Come on.
I mean, Shelley Sterling is pretty much trying to take away a privately owned thing. So, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you know more about the whole logistics of this than I do, so I'd like to hear your take on it.
People called me crazy right when this came out, and Adam Silver was there. Okay, he had that huge press conference, which I thought was a piece of baloney. He had that huge press conference saying he's going to have he banned Donald Sterling from the league for a lifetime. Okay, yeah, sure. Of course you're going to do that. And that he's going to have him sell it, and that, of course, the league owners have to have a vote on all this. Right from there, I said this was not going to happen.
This wasn't good.
I'm sorry. This is this guy's private property. He owns this. There's no way in the right mind in the United States of America that you're going to force someone to sell their property. There's no way that's going to happen. And Chris was sitting there yelling at me saying I wasn't crazy and that this is the NBA's problem and they had it all under control. And no, don't listen to Nick. No, never listen to Nick. No. At the end of the day, this is this guy's private property. He owns it with his hard-earned money. He bought this for how much back in the day? $15 million?
Yeah, so dirt cheap.
And it's worth, what, $2 billion now? This guy is a genius of a businessman. All right? Don't get me wrong. He's an idiot.
He's an idiot, but he's a great businessman.
Beautifully crafted businessman. He could do whatever the hell he wants, really, in the business world. Because he's before this, he was well respected. But, again, this here, you do have to be careful with. It's a slippery slope from the beginning with Adam Silver. And, I mean, sure, Adam Silver, he's an attorney. He knows what he's doing. But, again, Donald Sterling has $2 billion to his name. He can hire the best attorneys in the whole world. And they're doing their jobs magnificently. I mean, they really are.
Exactly. And I'm gonna steal a quote from you, Nick, in regards to the Adam Silver announcement back, a few months ago. I think the whole thing was a piece of PR garbage.
That's exactly what
it really
that's
was.
Right.
Because, look, knowing the man that Donald Sterling is and always has been, he's not just going to lay down and sell this team. It's just that simple. He's not going to lay down.
Would you?
No.
Exactly.
Of course not. Of course not. He's made billions off of this team. So, I mean, look, this guy is going to fight to keep his team, to keep his property for the rest of his life. He's going to hire the best lawyers in the world, and he's going to fight until the day he dies. He will. So
I agree.
I know Clippers fans want to look to the future, but look, this guy, unfortunately, I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. It's unfortunate.
It's a problem. And, I mean, there have been – I'm just change subject really quickly. If I was the owner, I mean, sure, the owner. If I'm Steve Ballmer and this goes through and he actually does get the team, because this is going to be around for a while. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be around for a while. Definitely be careful because there's going to be a lot of stigma surrounding the Clippers. He might have to think about moving. You don't think that's going to happen? I personally, I would love to see a team back in Seattle. I'm sure Chris is rolling in his grave.
I don't know if the Clippers go to Seattle. The only thing I would say about the Clippers is I would like to see them have their own building.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would like to see them have their own building.
But the fact that if this doesn't go through and this drags on, who knows what Doc Rivers is
The
going to
future.
do?
Oh, Doc is not going to play for Sterling
Exactly. And
or coach for Sterling.
if there's even a slight chance,
Chris Paul won't play for Sterling.
if there's a slight chance that Donald stays owner of this team, everyone's gone.
The future of the franchise is gone.
Everyone's gone.
It's gone. Nobody's going to – I mean, riots in the streets of L.A. Riots in the streets of L.A., and Chris will be at the helm.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Chris. Go. I mean, I'm sure if he heard that, he would kill me if I said that Clippers should move to another city.
It's probably a good thing he's not here with us.
Yeah. Oh, he'd wring my neck right now. But they should move. If Donald Sterling stays as owner, they're done. They're absolutely done. And if this drags on and more comes out, and Chris Paul leaves and Doc Rivers leaves, and say one day Steve Ballmer does take over, I think they should move. No doubt. I mean, there's not many cities in the U.S. that need a team. What? Maybe Las Vegas, maybe Seattle.
Yeah, I would say if there's going to be a team that moves somewhere, it's going to be Seattle.
I would love it, personally.
In my opinion. I would love to see an NBA team back in Seattle, but that's a long way down the line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But again, this court case is going to last
it's
quite a while.
It's going to last a long time.
And I mean, to be honest with you, I think both sides have a case. It just depends on who presents it better. I mean, of course, Donald Sterling's team's going to have a chance. They always will because they're the best lawyers in the world, arguably.
Exactly. And they're going to try to find every loophole, every little piece of evidence they can find to keep this open.
But I'm no legal expert by any means, but what I think this also comes down to is they're going to have to read that divorce paperwork by what Donald Sterling gave to Shelley and what Shelley has access to. Because, I mean, their divorce, I'm sure, because there's a huge $1 million, billion dollar.
That's the thing. Is the divorce final or is that still in progress? Like I'm not sure about that. I've completely gotten lost in this whole timeline.
Yeah, I just got word. Chris is pretty mad at us right now. He's listening.
Mad at us, yeah.
He's been talking to our producer Rebecca. Apparently I'm so wrong, but that's all right, Chris. Keep having your fun out there in LA. But no, yeah. Honestly, again, I'm no legal expert. Take a look. You got to take a look at what Shelley Sterling and Don Sterling did in their divorce paperwork type thing.
Is their divorce final?
I personally have no idea. I have no idea. I haven't been. What is that? Chris is probably texting you right now, yelling at you.
Yeah, probably.
But anyways, let's move on to the next thing. That's enough with that. Again, that's I'm interested to see how that goes. Again, that's a slippery slope.
Nick, one final question. Chris wants to leave his mark on this conversation. He wants to ask you, why would the Clippers leave the second biggest market in the nation?
Because of the stigma. I'm not saying it's going to happen. To be honest, it's probably not going to happen because I'm no NBA expert. But I just personally have a bias towards liking a team in Seattle, personally. Yeah. But again, LA is a great market. I understand that. But there's going to be a big stigma. They almost moved. I mean, sure, Steve Ballmer wanted to keep them in LA, but there was a couple buyers that were thinking about moving them to Seattle.
See, that's my thing is I want a team in Seattle, but I don't think the Clippers are the team that goes there. I just don't think it fits. I think the Clippers need to stay in LA.
All right, that makes sense.
I know the whole thing with Donald Sterling going on, blah, 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 whatever. I just think the Clippers belong in LA. I just don't know if they belong in that building.
Sure. Oh yeah, that's a whole other story about the whole building thing. All right, next up. Tyler, you want to introduce this whole non-Power 5 type thing in NCAA football?
I would love to. So, June Jones, SMU's head coach, came out the other day and essentially proposed to college football that all other conferences besides the quote-unquote Power 5, which obviously include the Pac-12, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and who am I forgetting? Big 10, I believe?
Yes. Yep.
Essentially said that all other conferences no longer play during the typical college season, which is September to the championship game in January. Essentially said that they should move their season to the springtime.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
In order to avoid competing for attention with the Power 5. Nick, I'm gonna let you start this one off with your opinion because there's a lot I can say about it.
This is malarkey. That's what it is. Absolute utter malarkey. Are you kidding me, June Jones? First off, coming from a guy who's not in the top in the Power Five conferences, I mean, maybe you would see one of the Power Five conference leaders coming out saying, "Oh yeah, I think we should be in the fall," and then the non-Power Five, the little small guys, go in the spring. Yeah, sure. Are you? That's ridiculous. All right, that's what's great about college football. Is personally, I'm not a big fan, but anyways, that's what's great. I mean, you like seeing those little underdogs beat the big guys. What happened with Appalachian State beating Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen if you guys split the season. And this is the thing that just makes me laugh. In a quote that he said to some WDAE, some radio station, he said, "I think the have-nots, the non-Power 5 leagues, should go ahead and move to the spring just like the USFL did." The USFL.
United States Football League.
What
You
is
have
that?
No idea what that is.
What did they last, 3 seasons, 1982 to 85, you said?
83 to 85.
83 to 85. Are you kidding me? The fact that you want to
It's a
strive.
great comparison. It's a great comparison.
The fact that you strive to be like the USFL is it's ridiculous. And real quick, just I don't know what he's talking about. In the final AP poll, the AAC, which is a non-Power 5, had 2 teams finish in the top 15. That's actually the same number as 4 of the Power 5 leagues did. The ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the Pac-12. They both had 2 finish in the top in the AP poll, the SEC being the exception, of course. But it's not like the AAC or the non-Power 5 conferences aren't doing anything. Look at UCF. They beat Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl.
And look, the way I see it is this. The other schools, the other conferences, yeah, they're never going to be on that level. They're never going to get the attention. You know, they're not going to have their own networks like the SEC network, which is going on, in August or whatever?
Yeah,
it's
brand new.
I mean, they're never going to be at that level. But once you start changing the days in which you play and changing the times of year in which you play, it's a death sentence. Look, they're not going to be on the top level, but they're still going to get headlines. They're still going to get noticed. There's no point in panicking. I mean, look, there's a quote from Conference USA chief Britain Banowski. It's in an article on ESPN. Pretty much said, look, we're going to compete. We're going to have headlines. Direct quote, call us the second 5 and note that there's 32 conferences. The point is this. While they're not huge, they're still big. People care about them. There's still fans of every school, and they're going to get attention. I mean, it's absolutely insane to think that you can get ratings when you're playing at a time where, honestly, nobody really cares about football.
And if he thinks that these non-Power 5 conferences move to the spring, if they're going to get TV deals, that's ridiculous.
It's insane.
They're not going to get a TV deal.
It's insane. Look, I mean, the major networks, when you're playing in the spring, they're not going to focus on, second-tier college football. They're going to focus on Major League Baseball. They're going to focus on the National Basketball Association. I mean, during some times of the year, the international events. I mean, they're just not going to get. They're not going to get the kind of successfulness that this guy,
I think that's what really helps college football. I know it's huge down south, but I mean up here in the north, not so much. Is the fact that on Saturday during the fall, what is it? College football.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's NFL on Sunday primarily. I know they messed all that up, but anyways, there's no major conference. You brought it up perfectly. There's no major conference competing with college football right now. If you brought it into spring, what is that going to be? That's going to be the playoffs for the NHL, playoffs for the NBA, baseball. There's no way there's 3 leagues competing against college football, those small teams, all right? There's no way you're going to have someone watch UConn football team who won, 3 games this last year? I don't even know. They lost 12 straight games? I have no idea. There's no way someone's going to turn off the NBA Finals to watch a UConn football game play some team in, I don't even know, play what, TCU?
Oh.
That's absolutely ridiculous. In the fall, Saturday is college football day. That's it.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, there have been tons of people who have already come out and said that this is ridiculous. You've heard quotes from a lot of the coaches in the minor conferences. You've heard further quotes from Banowski. I mean, it's just it seems like this is the only guy who really thinks this is a good idea, and there's a reason for that because it wouldn't work. It simply wouldn't work.
And he also had, this is another quote. I don't know if you saw this, Tyler. And that same thing. What he said. He said, "There's no chance." Excuse me, real quick. He said, "In 5 to 7 years, possibly, the public would demand to have the two leagues play." So this is what he's trying to think. I mean, he's compared to the USFL. Apparently, what the USFL had in mind originally when they split would have the winner of the USFL league and the winner of the NFL play in one final grand football game. Okay, clearly that didn't work for the USFL. But again, what he's trying to contemplate in his head or put together in his head. I mean, good. I guess you could say he had a good imagination. If anything, he's trying to say that the non-Power 5 and the Power 5, the winner of those two, play at the end of the year. But I think the Power 5 team would win every time. There's a reason why they're a Power 5.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you know this, Nick. I don't know who else out there knows this, but I am a diehard fan of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Sure.
Absolute diehard fan. So, and I speak for a lot of fans when I say this too, is I love to see the little guy play the big guy. I love watching games like that. I love even a chance at seeing teams like Tulsa take down Auburn or Ohio State or whatever. It's just, I'm not the only one who thinks that. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to see the best play the best and the worst only play the worst. It's not enticing at all.
I think at the end of the day, what this is June Jones coming out saying his opinion, and that's it.
And he's wrong.
That's exactly. I mean, he's wrong. But again, all these conference heads, all these conference chairs are saying no way. There's no happening for this. There's no interest. They're not even considering it, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to happen. I think hopefully it'll blow over very soon.
And especially now where you see college football leaving the BCS system and more towards the playoff, those smaller schools now have a higher chance than ever of getting into a big game, getting into the playoffs and potentially playing for a championship.
Yeah,
Is it likely? Is it likely? No, probably not. But at the same time, a small school won't get into a big game with the old BCS system. It's just not how it works.
And you know what? As a not a huge college football guy, I'm excited about this whole new playoff system.
I'm excited about it. I just wish it was bigger. I wish it wasn't 4 teams. Personally, I would prefer 8.
Hopefully they'll expand it. Hopefully if this works out well this year, they'll expand it.
Maybe this year or the next few years, just a trial run. Hopefully they expand it. But I do hope that they widen it because I think 4 is just too small.
Yeah, I agree. But hopefully it works out. My guess is this is going to be an experimental year. See how it works. If they like it, then they'll expand it.
Yeah.
All right. We're done with that stuff. Next up, Mr. Kevin Love and the NBA. I know we just keep talking about the NBA here. We just never stop. It's always NBA season here at the court. So again, we got some more deals going on here. Apparently the Bulls are looking to they're starting to push for Kevin Love. I mean, there's a seesaw back and forth with the Cleveland Cavaliers saying they're not going to trade Andrew Wiggins. They are going to trade Andrew Wiggins. We have no idea. Right now, I think if I put my money anywhere, I'd definitely say Kevin Love's going to Cleveland. But I guess the Bulls are making a push now. And real quick, just to recap, what Cleveland wants to offer potentially is what they're looking at is for Kevin Love, the number 1 overall pick of Andrew Wiggins of this year, who just signed a deal actually today. And then the number 1 overall pick last year, the absolute bum of Anthony Bennett. That was a Cleveland's offer. And then the Bulls, this again, there's no official word on this, but it would be Taj Gibson and Jimmy Butler, the defensive star in Butler. And that's all for Kevin Love, who, I mean, of course, we all know what he can do. Personally, Tyler, I want your opinion on this, but looking at this from a Timberwolves perspective, Cleveland's offer blows it out of the water.
It's not even close. I don't know what Cleveland's waiting for. And now you said, they signed Wiggins to a deal today. Under NBA rules, they can't trade him for at least 30 days. So that's another month that they won't be able to make this trade. And it's almost like Minnesota missed their chance they might have missed their chance. I mean, it's a great deal for the Timberwolves if they were be able to acquire what is the last two number one overall picks. I mean, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I don't get. I mean, I know Bennett had a rough year last year.
A rough year? Are you kidding me?
All right.
He's a bona fide scrub.
All right, he was pathetic last year. But look, he was a number one overall pick last year. There's something to him. He's playing well in summer ball. So I mean, and you're talking about giving up a guy who has pretty much come out and guaranteed that he's going to leave after this year. If he makes it to free agency, he's going to leave. I don't know what they're waiting for. I really don't.
Yeah, I think to quote a song, the Timberwolves got to jump on it. They got to jump on it. They got to jump on that Cleveland offer. I really think they do. That's ridiculous. Todd, real quick, just to compare stats. I mean, Andrew Wiggins, we have no idea what he can do. I think he's at least a 10-point-a-game guy.
He can be, depending upon what kind of minutes
Last
he
year,
gets.
Anthony Bennett, 4.2 points a game, 0.3 average assists per game, 3 rebounds per game. Are you kidding me? I could do better than that if I play in the NBA.
Well, that's a stretch there, Nick.
And the Bulls, they're giving Taj Gibson and Jimmy Butler. Taj Gibson, 13 points a game, 6.8 rebounds per game. He's an average guy at best, mediocre maybe on a bad day.
You can find a guy like Taj Gibson anywhere.
Oh yeah, and then Jimmy Butler, he's a good defensive guy, but he's not gonna get you the scoring you want. 13.1 points per game, 4.9 rebounds a game.
And exactly, that's not just the problem with Jimmy Butler. That's a problem with the whole Chicago Bulls team. And look, they're always one of the best defensive teams in the league, if not the best, but they can never score. And Nick, I know you were looking at the rankings. I don't know if you still have them up. You were looking at the rankings from last year in terms of overall defense and overall offense. I don't know if you want to read those.
Yeah, real quick, I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, points per game. The Bulls were ranked 30th in the league, 30th overall.
That's offensively.
Defensively, points allowed per game, they gave the most in the league.
Defensively?
Yeah, they points allowed was their first overall.
So they gave the least.
Oh yes, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
they gave
you're
the
right.
least.
They gave the least.
It's just, and that's always been the problem with the Bulls, especially with Roaix hurt, and now who knows if he's going to come back and be the same kind of guy. So I mean, you look at getting a guy like Kevin Love. Yeah, he can give you scoring. My only problem is I don't know where he really fits in that lineup. You got Noah playing the 5. Maybe Gasol playing the 4.
What are you gonna put Love at 3?
I mean, you're gonna put Love at 3,
no
but
way.
I mean, I don't. My problem is the Bulls need a guy who's athletic and can score. I mean, they need a guy who
LeBron James.
Well, anybody can use LeBron James, but I mean, they need a guy who's just gonna play hard and be able to drive and put the ball in the basket. And I don't know if Kevin Love is quite that guy. I mean, Kevin Love's a great shooter, but I just don't know where he fits on this team, to be honest with you. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if he quite fits in that lineup.
I think
unless you want to take Gasol off the bench.
Yeah, I don't know about that. At the end of the day, this is the Bulls trying to make another step to win a championship.
Yeah.
Will this do it? I think this is a last-ditch effort. Oh, look, Kevin Love. He's the big name that we could actually maybe get, so we're going to throw our name out there.
And the thing about it is if Roaix comes back and he plays, I'm not going to say he's going to play great like the guy he was before, but even if he plays pretty well and he can average, 15 to 18 points a game in a pathetic Eastern Conference, they can compete in the Eastern Conference. So, I mean, it's not completely far-fetched to say they can even get to the finals. I don't think they will, but at the same time, they're nowhere near being a championship team.
Yeah,
they couldn't even compete with any of the top teams in the West right now.
If Kevin Love went to the Bulls for some odd reason, the Timberwolves would be stupid, first off, but for some odd reason, if Kevin Love goes to the Bulls, they could be a contender. I think so. Yeah. To make it, I don't think they're going to win. But again, because if Derrick Rose comes back even half of what he was before, I think they'd be a good 1-2, especially with Joakim Noah, who's a good player. I don't like him, but he's a good player.
Yeah.
But I think I think Kevin Love would enjoy it better on Cleveland.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, getting a chance to play with LeBron James, that doesn't hurt. But I mean, you even just look at the offer that the Bulls are making. I mean, Gibson and Butler. I mean, what's really enticing about that? Ant, you have Anthony Bennett and Andrew Wiggins,
Potential.
who, you know, specifically Wiggins has potential through the roof. Or you have Taj Gibson, who is now what in his late 20s and an average big man, and Jimmy Butler, who's a great defender but not as great on the offensive end. I mean, there's nothing there that you can really build off. I mean, you can build your franchise around Wiggins and Bennett. I mean, you have that
Yeah.
option. You've had that option for what, a few weeks now, and you can't pull the trigger. I don't know what they've been waiting for. I really don't.
They say defense wins championships. Is not with Jimmy Butler. Not with 13.1 points a game.
Yeah,
He could be best defense in the league.
defense wins championships, but you got to be able to put the ball in the basket, and the Bulls can't do it.
Exactly. And I have to say, poor Andrew Wiggins. Poor
I do
Andrew
feel bad for
Wiggins
the kid.
going from playing with LeBron to the Timberwolves. Poor guy. I have to say, poor guy.
Potentially, he could still be playing with LeBron next year. Who knows?
Maybe.
And I mean, this whole Kevin Love situation. It's like it seems like every week there's a new quote unquote favorite. I mean, originally you had the Warriors, but they don't want to give up Klay Thompson, and then you had the Cavaliers, but the Cavaliers didn't want to give up Wiggins, and then you saw last week the Warriors are making another push, and now you have the Cavaliers, and now you have the Bulls jumping in on it. It's like it's insane. And originally, I'm a Warriors fan, as you know, so a few weeks ago when they were kind of the only team really in it, I thought it was a slam dunk. I thought it was going to be boom, boom, done. Kevin Love was going to be a Warrior. And now I personally have no idea what's going to happen.
Of course, LeBron James ruins everything. He always does.
Honestly, it might come down to LeBron James going to Dan Gilbert and saying, "Get me Kevin Love." Who knows? Who knows? He probably still has that kind of pull.
Oh, he definitely. I think that's it. I think that's what you saw. LeBron James going home, going to Cleveland, and all of a sudden, Cavs
Literally
make a push
within a
to
half
Kevin
hour.
Love. Yep.
Within a half hour. Oh, Kevin Love wants to go to Cleveland.
Yes.
I mean, it's just LeBron runs the NBA. LeBron runs sports.
He's a dictator. He's an absolute dictator. Speaking of LeBron James.
Oh boy, that's going to lead us right into our next topic.
Did you see what he did, Tyler?
I did. And I think you and I actually differ in opinion.
You what?
You and I differ in opinion.
I didn't know that.
So why don't you introduce it, and then I will give you my opinion.
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This whole debacle with Instagram. LeBron James thinking he's the king of the world. As always, he went to Instagram and posted a picture. Okay, there's this whole thing about he doesn't know what number he should be. Originally, he was going to be 32, but I guess now he was thinking about either staying with number 6 or going back to number 23. So he posted a picture on Instagram of split screen of one in his 6 Cleveland jersey and the other in his 23 Cleveland jersey, and he asked followers to comment on which number they thought. Reading through it, I mean, there's no word from this. I don't even know if this is real, to be honest. But so far, reading through the comments, I thought majority was 23.
Mm-hmm.
I think this piece of PR garbage is what it is. This is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that he did something respectable when he went to Miami, changed to number 6, in respect for the great Michael Jordan. Okay, now he's thinking about going back to number 23. What, you think after being 4 years in Miami, you think you're as good as Michael Jordan himself? That's ridiculous. You cannot compare yourself to Michael Jordan. Okay, not yet, not even close. Okay, maybe a little close, yes, but not. You can't compare the two. All right, so out of respect, you did something nice for once and change your number to 6. Now you want to go back to 23. Tyler, go ahead. I can't talk about this anymore.
Well, look, if I am a fan of the Cleveland Cavaliers, I want LeBron James wearing number 23.
Why? So you can keep your old jersey?
It's not about keeping. Well, it is a little bit about
save some
keeping
money.
The old jersey. No, but look, I don't. It's not about him living up to Michael Jordan. I don't think that's really always there in his mind anymore. I really don't. When he came into the league, sure, because everybody said he was the next Jordan, and they called him the king and everything. I don't think it's about that anymore. If I'm a fan of the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's more about not wanting him to wear number 6. I don't want him to wear the number that represents his championships and success in Miami.
Then why not go to 32?
Why do that? You were number 23 in Cleveland. Why go back to the way?
You know what the king
Why
is?
not go back to the way it used to be?
You know what the king is? Henrik Lundqvist is the king.
What?
No way,
That was
LeBron
so
James.
random.
No,
That was
no way.
so random.
No way, LeBron James is the king. Henrik Lundqvist is the king. Sorry, real quick. Just go ahead.
Here's my thing though. I think it would look weird with him wearing number 32. I just think it would look weird. It would be weird. He used to be number 23. If I'm a Cavalier fan, I don't want him to wear the number that illustrates the team he left and illustrates the team he went to when you left your home.
If I'm Dan Gilbert, I want him to change numbers. That's more jersey sales. That's more jersey sales right there.
But you know what, though? Here's the thing. All those Cleveland fans now have to go out and buy a new jersey because they all burned them 4 years ago. They got to go buy a new jersey anyway, so they're going to get money. I guarantee LeBron James' jersey next year tops the sales list.
Oh,
guaranteed.
Easily. But
far and away.
Again, I have no idea if this whole Instagram thing was legit. He could be definitely joking.
He could be. He could be.
Again, it's for the attention. Whatever this guy does, everyone's hailing him. All hail LeBron James.
He's a god to that city, and
most
he's always going to be.
Important person in the world. Yeah,
to that city, he is. He's the most important person in Cleveland.
Why don't you pick
up
a newspaper and see all those people dead in Ukraine right now? All right.
The sports fans in this country are short-minded.
Yeah, I know they are.
Come on.
All right, it's 8:41 now. I think that's anything else you want to talk about sports-wise, Tyler?
Good.
That LeBron James.
I'm going to talk a little bit about sports and the verdict, but
sure. Again, that LeBron James thing. Who knows? It's nothing official yet. LeBron saying definitely he's going to be 23 or definitely he's going to be 6.
Nick, I tell you what, I'll buy you a LeBron James jersey if he switches to number 23.
I'll burn it. I'm telling you right now, I'll burn it. In politics news, we got quite a bit going on. Again, we're not going to talk too much about politics. It's really going to be just me because Tyler, not a self-proclaimed politics junkie.
By no means.
By no means. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what's going on. And then we're actually doing a show Sunday. So keep in contact with our social media, Twitter, Facebook. When Chris is gonna be back, and we could talk a little bit more about the whole politics things when he gets back. We all know how much Chris loves
He's
the UN.
The whole time going at us about.
Oh yeah,
Sterling.
Actually, never mind. The whole show, the whole hour, it'll be just Donald Sterling talk. So that's what it's gonna be. But the whole foreign policy thing is Chris's his favorite. We all know that. But again, everyone knows what happened with the Malaysian flight in Ukraine. A commercial airline, Malaysian Airlines having a terrible year. They absolutely having a terrible year. I don't know what's going on with them. Good luck with that marketing team. That marketing team, God bless them, because who knows what they're going to do. But this whole thing, this airliner, 228 killed, not confirmed entirely, but pretty much there was, 298 people on that flight, so just short of 300. Most of them killed, shot down right above the Ukrainian skies. Actually, it's on the border of Ukraine and Russia. And again, people are pointing fingers. No one's taking responsibility. Of course not. But I'm going to butcher this name. But Vitaly Nida, that's Ukraine's director of informational security, told CNN the person who shot down the flight was absolutely a Russian. Russian-trained, well-equipped, well-educated officer pushed that button deliberately. So that's what the Ukrainians are saying. U.S. officials are saying pro-Russian rebels were responsible for shooting that down. So not technically Russians, but the pro-Russian rebels. That's what the U.S. officials are saying. And now they're saying that those rebels didn't know the plane was a commercial airline. They just opened fire. And then the pro-Russian rebels have repeatedly denied responsibility for the attack. And then the Russians are saying that it was what are they saying here? They're saying it was definitely the Ukrainian jet fighter. So they shot the plane down by accident. So everyone's pointing fingers every which way, which is kind of common, expected out of this. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Russian. I would not be surprised if it was Russian. But the U.S. what they're saying now is that even if the rebels did it, Russia does definitely bear some responsibility because the Russians are the ones that are arming these rebels. It's an absolute mess out there. It's an absolute complete and utter mess. I'm going to go more into that on Sunday. But again, everyone's pointing fingers. No one is taking responsibility for it. It's just whoever did it at the end of the day, it's got to be fixed. Actually, the U.S. isn't actually most of the focus on what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now, Tyler. I don't know if you noticed that. But John Kerry, he's out in Israel right now trying to get that ceasefire. The U.S. is really saying at this point, it's your problem, Russia. I don't know if you see that, Tyler, at all.
Yeah, I'm sort of paying attention to it.
But yeah, again, there's not much we can do. Some Ukrainians, they want to be Russian. Others don't want to be. It's a mess. So again, we'll talk more about that on Sunday when our best friend, best friend in the whole world, Chris Arndt is back. Next up, grim scene in Israel. Tyler, have you been following this at all?
Oh, absolutely. It's in the news.
It's a grim scene. Just yesterday, the U.S.'s top diplomat, John Kerry, he went there. He's trying to push an immediate ceasefire and all that. So far, I mean, even today you saw a Israeli. I don't know too much about that. I haven't read too much about this. But today you see an Israeli bomb actually hit a UN school. Tyler, I don't know did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, apparently an Israeli shot missile hit a UN school, killing mostly civilians. But so far, the Gaza Health Ministry has stated 664 Palestinians have been killed so far. About 70 of those have been civilians. And then on the other side, about a third of that less in Israel. About 230 have been killed. This is just pretty much, again, this is just a they renew a whole new war that's been going on for centuries now. I don't think there's any stopping this. Of course, the U.S. is going to back Israel. They're our biggest ally in the Middle East. There's no way. I personally agree with that big time. I think I'm a big fan of Israel. You got to back Israel up. Tyler, I know you don't know too much about this, but Israel is our biggest ally in the Middle East by far, and I think we got to stay on good terms with them. If we don't, Netanyahu, he's a big friend. If we don't stay on good terms with Netanyahu, we're in trouble. So again, the U.S. and Israeli officials are repeatedly blame the Hamas for this. The Hamas is actually they're Palestinian oriented. So most of the people in that group it's a terrorist group pretty much, or at least recognized by the United States government. It's a terrorist group, and it's a mess out there. So again, we'll talk more about that. Again, foreign policy is not my strong point by any means. I'm more of a internal domestic type of guy, but again, you got to take a look at this. There's many people dying for no reason, just for really lack of cooperation. I mean, in simple terms, it's two people not seeing each other eye to eye. That's it. So again, we're going to keep in touch with that, keep everyone in check, as well as Sunday night we'll see Chris's take on that. Finally, this is an interesting one, Tyler. You'll probably be able to comment a little bit on this. This is my specialty, is this whole Obamacare thing.
You haven't shut up about this the last week.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, I personally am not a fan of Obamacare, but I'm at the point where it's enacted for 4 years now. Just deal with it, you stupid Republicans. That's all I had to say. Make it work. It already passed. Stop complaining like a little baby, and just deal with it. Make it work. All right? Stop trying to lobby everything, or stop trying to table everything so it doesn't work. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't pay too much close attention, but it seems like every time I look, somebody keeps trying to fight Obamacare. And I mean, the way I see it is like you were just saying. I mean, it's here. It's been passed. It's been around for, 4 years?
Yeah, figure out a way to enact it.
Exactly. Figure out how to make it work and not figure out how to get rid of it, because it's here, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And I mean, the Hobby Lobby case was last week. We talked about that a little bit. If you want to see my take on that, go to my brother Jay's Brino, his show, The Courtroom. He's actually filming right now. And he's on. I talked a little bit about the Hobby Lobby case. That was last week. That was a big blow to the pro-Obamacare people. But just yesterday, there's two contradictory rulings within district courts about this whole Obamacare thing. A panel of U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit struck down a major part of the federal health care law Tuesday, ruling that the insurance subsidies that are given through the federal exchanges, they're illegal. That's actually, I believe, 36 states have federally run exchanges, and that appeals court in D.C. struck that down. But then I believe not even like Tyler. I think it was like less than 2 hours later, a panel of U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit, I believe that's in like Richmond, Virginia, they handed down a contradictory ruling saying that it is legal. So real quick, just to overview, not to get into too many constitutional arguments or any details about that. The D.C. Court of Appeals, in a 2-to-1 ruling, said the insurance subsidies cannot be awarded through the 36 federally run exchanges. That can only be run through the subsidies can only be through the state-run exchanges. I mean, all those pro-Tea Party people saying states' rights, they're loving this rule, and they're going to run with it. But again, less than 2 hours later, 3-0 ruling in Richmond, Virginia said that people can draw from both of the exchanges. Again, this comes down, it was a poorly written law. They try to rush it through Congress. And I mean, that famous thing, Tyler, I don't know if you remember this. Right before it got passed, you saw Nancy Pelosi, who was the Speaker of the House at the point. She went she went over in front of the media and said, they asked her about the details of it. And what she said was, let's pass it and then we could figure out the details. Yeah, that's what she said. She said,
Wow.
Let's get this thing through and then we can look at the details. Obama was just lucky that he had the majority in the House and the Senate when he passed that. And that really came down to the case. No one knew what was written in there. It was just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, and they tried to push it through as quickly as possible so no Republican stopped it, and no Republican went to the media or went to the public and exposed it, really. And that's what it was. It was poorly written, and that's what it comes down to. These two courts of highly respected judges, 6 judges in total, they had completely different views. That's absolutely ridiculous. And, I mean, what this first Court of Appeals, the one that struck it down, is arguing. They're saying that Congress intended for the subsidies, which were in the form of tax credits, to go only to people in states that set up their own exchanges. I don't want to go into too much detail, but essentially they're saying that these subsidies were meant as carrots to entice these states to go in these exchanges. So if their people called to their governors and said, listen, we want to use this exchange, the governor was going to listen and create the exchange in the state program. But again, these hardcore right states, such as Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, the deep South, they're not going to set up these exchanges, no matter if 50% of the people in the state said, yes, I want a subsidy. At the end of the day, I don't think you can deny these people. If there's one Democrat standing in the middle of Alabama saying, I want a subsidy, you got to give it to the guy. Even if no one else in the country, you got to give it to him. If there's that one Democrat standing there in Hickville in the trailer park with his wife beater on, you got to give it to him. So I personally don't agree with the decision, but again, we'll get into more detail as more and more comes out on it. I think that we covered a lot today, Tyler, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We did a pretty good job. It's 8:54 now. I forgot, actually, this is backtracking a lot. I forgot to say our little slogan at the beginning of this show. I forgot to say, let's blitz the hill. But anyways, let's get down to the verdict. I know Tyler got something written up. I got something written up. His is about sports, mine about politics. Cliche, I know, whatever. Tyler, go ahead.
Oh, boy. I want to bring attention to one of the more disturbing stories I ever heard. Nick, I was telling you briefly about this before the show.
This is ridiculous.
We call ourselves fans, deriving from the term fanatic, which is defined as a person with an obsessive interest and enthusiasm for something.
I never thought of that, actually. That's interesting.
Now, this idea was taken to a whole new level last night when it was revealed that a Cleveland Browns fan posted a video of himself urinating on the grave of the late Art Modell. Now, I don't know if you know who Art Modell is. Former owner of the Browns. He was the man who moved the Browns to Baltimore back in the mid '90s, I believe.
Meaning Cleveland.
No, he moved them out of
Out
Cleveland.
of Cleveland.
Out
Yeah,
of
sure.
Cleveland,
Yeah.
yes. We've seen many extreme showings of fanhood in the past, but nothing that goes to this level. Nothing that involves the soiling of a man's grave. Art Modell may have been the man who ripped out the hearts of Clevelanders when he moved the Browns to Baltimore, but this goes way beyond sports. I'm all for fans being passionate about the teams they root for, but when an individual goes beyond a point where you attack another human being, physically or emotionally, in this life or even the next, that is the point where I draw the line. I believe the words that man said and the actions he directed towards the late, great Art Modell sadly show the things we are willing to do for the athletes and teams we love.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely shameful that someone would do that.
It really is.
That is absolutely. Anyone would do that. That's ridiculous.
My stomach turned when I first heard
Oh,
about this.
that's terrible. I mean, I absolutely hate a lot of hockey teams. I'm a big hockey fan. I hate the Capitals. I hate the Penguins. But again, if Sidney Crosby ever died, I would never piss on his grave. You got to show respect.
It's just hateful.
Show respect where respect is due.
It's shameful. It really is.
All right, not of mine. A little bit politics for you all. This summer has been a summer from hell, excuse my language, for President Obama. I mean, hopping from crisis to crisis. But again, the poll numbers have not diminished after all this drama. From the surge of rebels crossing over Iraq earlier in the month, to the mass number of minors, the illegal minors crossing to the border in the southern states, to the drama in Ukraine, and now the renewed violence between Palestine and Israel. Obama's thinking to himself right now, when will this summer end? Please help me. But again, just a couple days ago, a poll released by CNN found that President Obama's approval rating has dropped just 1%. His approval rating is 42%. His disapproval rating, has stayed constant over the past 3 months at 55%. So again, but now many of you question, why are we even bringing up President Obama's approval rating? Why does it matter? He's not running. He's not going to be on the ticket again in 2016. I'll tell you why it matters. His performance in office is not only going to affect the Democrats planning to run 2016, P.S. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, but it's also going to affect those Democrats planning to run in this year's upcoming midterm elections. In another recent poll, 3 out of 10 people said their votes will fall against Obama this upcoming election, and only 19% of people said their votes will be in support of Obama and the Democrats. At the end of the day, if the Democrats want to secure another 4 years in the Oval Office in 2016, they better tell Mr. Obama to step up his game, because it's not going to fly. He is not doing anything. I'm sorry I'm ranting now, but he's not doing anything right now, and he's just hopping from crisis to crisis, saying what he needs to say, saying what, it hurts my heart that all these people, my prayers go out to all of you. He's got to do something. He really does. And I mean, there's turmoil in Washington. We don't want to see it, and it's terrible. It's terrible. Democrats got to be careful if Obama doesn't do anything. But really, America, really, Obama's doing nothing. He stays at 42%. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong right there. Thank you all.
That's interesting, actually. That's really interesting. That's only dropped 1%.
Yeah, 1%. Really come on. Are you serious? What has he done significant?
Nothing.
No, exactly. You can't say one thing he did. Obamacare is still coming up. That's it. Yeah, when did that happen? Last term. We shouldn't be thinking about it now. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, folks. Tyler, this was fun tonight, wasn't it?
It has been.
Yeah, we had more of a natural conversation between the two of us. It was fun. We miss our friend Chris dearly.
He'll be back Sunday.
Keep your eyes glued to social media.
He'll be coming back with a vengeance.
Oh yeah,
so
I'm sure we'll be talking about Donald Sterling the whole time, and what I said about the whole Seattle, LA Clippers moving to Seattle. But it was fun. Stay glued to our Facebook page, to our Twitter page, and we are going to let you know when Sunday, probably 8 o'clock again, but we'll verify that. And also, some quick news. housekeeping wise, we're trying to get a podcast up, so keep a lookout for that too. So you can stream it right to your iPhone, iPad, any iDevice, and even Android devices. You can listen to us on the go when you're jogging around. You can listen to us talking. That'll be fun. All right, thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, my name is Nick Brino with my compadre over here, Tyler Roaix, and everyone have a good night.